me in my face and say, well, you didn't do it. And I'm not even saying he has to do it. What I'm saying is, all right, you want to go to the military, that's what you want to do? Fine, exactly. But the example is set. If you have the intelligence, the capabilities, the financial assets to be able to go to school and do what you want to do, then do that. But don't look at me and be like, all right, well, you know what? I want to do what you did, and you didn't go to school.
But everyone knows the hardest thing to do in life is to look at your failures and admit that they're because of yourself.
Yeah.
It's easy to find someone else to blame.
Yeah. But I mean, you are your failures. You are your failures.
And I think that's where true growth comes from, where true development, where true evolution comes from, is understanding. I mean, that there are some factors that might inhibit you in some respects, but when your failures are to your own, whether it's because of lack of skill, lack of ambition, or just didn't work hard enough, you have to be adult enough to admit that, it was your fault.
Yep. And
because that's from there, you know where to correct.
Yep.
You can correct stuff if you look at within.
Yep.
And realize where you went wrong.
Yep.
If you're blaming someone else, there's nothing to correct.
And that goes back to having good friends, because I mean, I've been in plenty of situations, and I was a habitual violator for years of exactly that. Like, I knew what my failures were, but sometimes you can't correct your failures alone. You need people there that understand what your failures are and who you are to help you correct your failures.
True support system, true friends,
exactly.
True family.
And that's where they come in at, because I know for years, and I'm still that way. Like the people that are closest to me, I tell them straight up, this is what's going on. This is what I got going on. This is, what's happening in my life. And I might not necessarily need for them to do anything, but they don't they don't understand they're doing something just by being there. Like, I know if I need something, they're actually there. But we have a lot of people that will look anybody in their face, family, friends, whoever, and be like, you know what, everything's all good when shit's falling apart. All right, now as a person that's deployed 8 times, that's a full-time parent when I'm in the States, and I've done all kind of crazy shit. That I've been through it. Like, I am my support system, which is why when I find people that are absolutely true to who they're supposed to be and who I evaluate them to be, no questions asked. Like, those people will be around me for the rest of my life. Because not just because I'm evaluating them from the perspective of they would be elevating to me. I'm looking at it from the perspective of they would be elevating to my son. I will leave my son with this person. If all shit hits the fan and I die, these people would instill the same values, principles, understanding of being a man and of society that I would.
You're not even talking figuratively. You're talking literally.
I'm talking absolutely 100% literally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, let's wipe my son out of the picture. And let's just look at it from if I didn't have my son and I was a person unable to admit my face. Because that's the other thing. I let my son see my face. I'll tell my son straight up, I fucked up. All right? Okay? Now, you know what? And I wasn't going to do this episode, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because this is a good example. All right? So, son was close to my ex. All right? I fucked up. I went talking to her for a while. He was close to it. He was like, why y'all ain't talking? I was like, well, son, because I fucked up.
You told him you fucked up.
Yeah. And those exact words. I fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me because it's uncharacteristic of me to fuck up. I mean, just because I'm always super self-conscious about how it's going to impact him. And I know for a fact I was judged. In that moment,
of course,
by him, I was judged. Fair enough.
That's okay.
All right. But the fact is, by me being able to admit it, he was like, all right, so my dad isn't flawless.
Mm-hmm.
He makes mistakes. And I don't know what he did, but he did something that he shouldn't have done.
But you're showing him accountability.
Exactly. And that's the most important thing. I'm accountable for my actions. I did it. It was my fault. It's on me. I eat that. I let him know it. Hell, I let you know it. and I ate it, and I went with it. But being able to be accountable to everybody in your life is instrumental in who you become. Mm-hmm. Because just like you already said, your failures are what define you, what you learn and grow from them. And that's why I say it's important to have the right people around you, because I might be talking to somebody and I'm not looking for advice. I'm not looking for them to reinforce my perspective. Like if I'm looking at it the wrong way though, and they know I'm looking at it the wrong way, and I'm trying to self-validate my own ideas and perspective, I know Rich gonna be like, all right, that's some bullshit. You self-gratifying your own opinion here. Like you're doing what, you're telling yourself what you want to hear. That's not what it is though. Yeah. And people that don't have the right people around them, they'll fail and never admit they fail. But even then, like I'm only gonna fail until I succeed. Like you gotta eat that failure, learn from it, and grow from it. And people just aren't capable of doing that.
So how do you choose the people, I guess, that you trust enough to keep you honest? You know, because for me personally, I grew up with the whole your family is gonna be there for you no matter what. The whole blood is thicker than water, and I think even my parents still hold on to those tried and true fallacies, despite the fact that there's been so much evidence otherwise. Just from uncles backstabbing to grandparents just treating them like shit. And I was one that was always fighting that sentiment. I don't know why. Maybe just trying to thinking through, because my parents always encouraged me to think independently. Don't be afraid of how you think. And right or wrong, make a decision to stick by it. Yeah. So I made that decision, and I didn't invite I uninvited my grandmother for my wedding. She was my only grandmother left. The other one passed. But I take a lot of pride in people I consider friends because they really are my family. Yeah. What do you think about? How do you go about choosing those people and vetting them to make sure that that they are legit?
I think the best vetting system, at least the one I use, is just I'm unadulterated when it comes to being myself. Like I won't compromise on being me, whether people like it or not. I just won't do it. Like I do a lot of stuff that
likewise.
Yeah, like I do a lot of stuff that I know people don't agree with. I do stuff that I know my friends don't agree with. But at the same time, it's like that's me. All right. So it's kind of like once you've been yourself around somebody for so long, these people learn you, and then they're like, all right, this isn't who you are. Like, people that meet you and don't like who you are will try to change who you are. People that meet you and accept you for who you are will support who you are, and they will do whatever they can to keep you out of trouble, whether they like what you do or not. And they also know, like, if this is who you are and you're about to do something, then they're just going to be like, you know what, I might not agree with it, but Corey's going to do it, so... Whether that means getting Corey out of prison or flying to the other side of the world to rescue Corey's ass, like they know like Corey's gonna be Corey. So like my betting system is, it starts with principles. So you are largely defined who you are by the principles that you hold and hold true to. If somebody doesn't hold the same values and principles as you, you're screwed from the beginning. All right. And in this specific situation, and this is the perfect situation to have this conversation. Like when we met each other, one of our very first conversations was about principles of relationships, principles of women, principles of men, and the quality of both in the world today. And that was our very first conversation. Fucking 2010, 11, whenever it was, like that was our very first conversation. And if you hold the same principles as somebody, but that's only one part of the puzzle. So even if you hold the same principles as somebody, then you got to figure out if they're the type of person that's going to compromise and waver on their principles. Because come hell or high water, come freedom or prison, I'm not wavering or compromising on my principles. I'm just not going to do it. And my son knows that. If it means I'm separated from my son, my family, my friends, if it came down to my principles, I'm not wavering on my principles. And I've been, especially in the case of my closest friends, which is why my closest friends are my closest friends. Like we've been in situations of principle where any of us could have ended up in prison.
I almost got us all in prison.
Got
locked up on principle.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a prime example. Like we've been in situations where we almost ended up in prison on principle.
It was definitely principally based. You know?
Exactly. And see, that's a prime example. Like those weren't even like my principles in the situation. Like I'm standing on the outside of the situation. And I'm like, you know what Rich is doing is on principle. And I hold the
listeners, let's give them more background on what that was.
I'll let you walk through that.
So it was I think it was my 29th birthday, 31st birthday. One of those birthdays. It wasn't the 30th, but we went to a gentleman's club, also known as a strip club for the initiated, and we had a good time. Had a lot of drinks. It was me, Corrie, and my then girlfriend, who's now my wife. You know, and several other friends. We went to the Stadium Club in D.C. Had a good time. You know, had a lot of drinks, smacked a little bit of ass. You know, even though we weren't allowed to.
We smacked a lot of ass.
But we smacked a lot of ass.
Yeah, we smacked a lot of ass.
And I don't apologize for that either. You know, and we're leaving. One of my friends was there. His wife got extremely hammered and was throwing up in the bathroom, so they had to leave. And he texted me that he had to leave, but he'll send me money for his part of the tab, which was only $20. So we're leaving, going outside, and then my sister gets wind of the person leaving, and she wants to accuse them of ducking the $20, which I was saying it was outrageous because we were all full-time working, and $20 was nothing for anybody there.
Dude, we blew like probably $1,000 plus $2 or $3.
I threw a good $400 at some light-skinned ass, you know, and a good $600 at some dark-skinned, beautiful ass too.
I know we blew like $2 in there, some shit.
Yeah. So we do that, and then and my sister keeps talking about it. And at that point, I'm a good 4 bottles drunk.
Yeah.
You know, so
which means I'm 4 bottles drunk.
I make I had enough, and then I elevated my voice and said that's enough. And then she starts crying, and then these random guys coming out of the corner like they were selling sandwiches on the side of the street. You know, with a red shirt. You know, wants to tell me to calm down, and I tell them, okay, my man, it's a family matter. Please mind your business. We're leaving now. He continues to keep badgering me, at which point I lost my mind and say, hey, fuck you, nigga. It's none of your business. And then they proceed to try to corner me or try to like box me in at the vehicle that we rolled in with. And the only person there was me and my girlfriend, who's now my wife. And then they just keep yelling, and then all of a sudden I hear my man Corey come up out of nowhere.
Because you know, bro.
I don't know how he wedged his way between us all, but he got there.
and then it proceeds to go down. I mean, and that's the gist of the story. But I mean, he's already covered the principle, like especially when it comes to matter of families. Like
it was totally me though.
Yeah.
I was one that it was like I did not. I was not going into the situation thinking I have friends around me that are going to help me. I was thinking this guy is violating me, disrespecting me, and I was prepared to take on both of them. Yeah. But Corey stepped in and was like, "You're not going through this alone."
Yeah. That's just not happening. But see, that comes down to exactly that, man. Like principles, like from the very beginning, and it's just like, and this is a double-edged sword of principle right here, okay? And that's why I love this situation, because although Ashley went to the extreme, she originally went on principle. Like we're not known to be people to skip out on bills. We cover our responsibility. That's how it is. Mm-hmm. So I give her that much. She went irate on principle at first. However, off the same principle, we don't go irate. We all full-time working people. We all got good jobs. We can cover $20 if we all lost our job and was unemployed for a couple of months. Yeah. Like covering $20 is not a big deal. So off the principle that it's Rich's birthday, and you know we just having a good time. We are super drama free people. Like we do fun. We don't do drama.
And I realized I probably messed up by I should have just not told anybody about it and